Hello, hello. Welcome back to yet more CoraL League. We all love it. You know it. You love it. And yeah, it's AMX versus Null8. Um, yep. Anyway, first game between these two in the Ocean League. Both newcomers to the league. Have you looked at all at the teams?
No.
Neither have I, but we've got Wins Resolve coming back. He has been here a few times before and was playing mid before, is now playing um,
Jungle.
playing jungle. So it should be interesting to see what he's looking for. N8 tag for Skymorph 1 second. This is why we ask teams to get this all done beforehand. That's done now. But speeding it up. And AMX, and then we'll just chuck the spectator link, and we are going to tell them that they can start the draft as soon as they're ready, because that would be useful. It's ready. It seems like we're speeding a little bit. We are. One of the teams, one of their players can only play until 10, so we're going to try and make sure we stick to the 2-hour window that we usually leave, and quite often we go a tiny bit over because one of the game runs long or there's draft issues or something like that. So we're just waiting for Null8 to begin the draft, and then we'll swap straight over. So yeah, I should have looked at the teams beforehand, but I was creating this nice new screen that we have for our start screen. Ooh, isn't it pretty? You can say no or yes, either way. That is what we've got now. Haha.
It looks kind of good.
Yep, we're still working on it, but
Okay.
we're into draft. Boom, let's swap over. So, Null8 versus AMX, first game for both of these teams. We start first seeing Null8 banning away the Camille. They're looking obviously towards the top lane of AMX, thinking that's a potential issue. Taking away the Renata. Very strong.
Champion. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Null?
Not really sure where she's in map at the moment, but it seems pretty strong.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on Nautilus support? Because I know he's kind of controversial nowadays.
I don't think he's ban worthy, but I think he's a strong pick. I don't think you should, unless you know it's like a one trick or something where it's really good at like finding these windows to go all in. I think it's not a necessary ban in most cases.
Yeah, and then we see Diana banned away. That is a that's straight towards Wins Resolve, I believe. Vigar and Vayne also both taken off the board. A Jarvan insta-lock for Null8. Jarvan?
Interesting first pick, I have to say, but he has a strong early game jungler. Kind of fits that mold. I would say since how is just a better champion if you want to pick the Jarvan, but his ulti is really strong. He has that level, that possible level 2 gank that you might have to look out for.
Yep, I'm just turning you up.
Yep. And we see the Kai'Sa.
Stream
Can
let
also move closer.
Yep, stream let me know if that's still too low. Kai'Sa, yeah, they flashed up a few different AD carries there. Kai'Sa's just a very strong AD carry if you can get away with the laning phase nowadays. I would say blinding it's a bit risky.
Yeah,
Um,
it is also a possible flex. We have seen the Kai'Sa mid. Isn't the best in lane as ADC Kai'Sa, but really struggle with that poke and that AP build. So blind picking might just say that we can flex her. Be careful what you're picking. It is a possibility.
Now, this is very interesting. Warwick picked up for Null8 along with Rakan. So we would expect that to be a Rakan support, which means Jarvan and Warwick are most likely the top and the jungle. So maybe we're seeing a Jarvan top.
I think it's a Warwick top actually. I don't think his carry is that good early. He also needs a lot of time to scale up. So I think it makes more sense to put him in the top lane. He also probably can sustain through the chase poke early, so that might also be a plan. Plan by them looking for maybe level 6 gank or level 2 gank through the Jarvan top side to just shut down this chase. I would say maybe a Malphite pick into the chase would have been stronger, but
That's
yeah,
okay.
it will be interesting to see.
Yep, and then we've got Xin being locked in for AMX. They're just making sure to pick their jungler as well. A nice strong jungler. Xin always brings that sort of early game pressure and the ability to just use his ult to create these big zones that the enemy team really struggles to get through if they're ranged. Although Null8 don't have any ranged champions actually locked in yet.
No, they're really like all in here. Would probably like to see something that can follow up on this. An ADC that can follow up. A Jinx might be really strong. It doesn't seem like it's been banned. Get the pick with the Warwick ulti maybe. Then get excited. Get the Rakan ulti and the Jarvan ulti. Really strong combo with the Jinx to give her space and also get her excited early and just roll over the fights while also maybe getting a facilitating mid laner like an Orianna or something like that. Would probably round out this comp really nicely.
Yep, we see a Lulu ban away, which I find very strange because I would have expected AMX to lock a tank support. There we go. Because they are lacking quite a front line without that. They'd be relying basically on the Xin Zhao as their entire front line, which you don't really want to have to do. So Leona lock in, kind of expected. Like I was saying, kind of strange to see the Lulu banned away. And now...
Yeah.
Sorry, you go.
Yeah, it is kind of strange. It also just makes sense to get a safe kind of tank support and then keep the mid ADC flex with the Kai'Sa as well.
Yep, that's true. Null8 having to potentially blind their mid laner blocks in the Zoe. A bit of poke, not a champion I'd really expect when you've got like the Jarvan, the Warwick. I guess you could lock them in the Jarvan cage and then Zoe's got a free Q on them without the bubble having landed. But not something you generally expect to see in the Jinx. You did mention this, and it is locked in.
Yeah, when you go for a Jinx, I think it just makes more sense to go for something like Orianna that can facilitate the Jinx and also bring a little bit of damage instead of this Zoe. But again, it can soften up the team. It isn't the most tankiest team, so if you get the Q onto any of these people except maybe the Leona, it can just give them the opportunity to...
Now they've kept the flex potential there with Tristana and Kai'Sa. I'm just going to let the teams know they can start the actual game when ready. But yeah, so very interesting, but maybe we should talk about which way do you think this would be better to put them around. Would you prefer to see the Kai'Sa mid or the Tristana mid?
Well, this is where it could get a little bit interesting. I think both champions scale pretty well with levels. That's something you have to look for when you go for the solo laner. Right, the Tristana gets more range with levels. That can be a really strong thing. She's also safer against the Zoe with her W and a potential gank from Jarvan. So maybe putting the Kai'Sa bot lane would be better. But then again, getting that Kai'Sa the solo XP might give her the opportunity to go for a little bit of a more greedy build to get the Q evolve earlier, since you can just go for the Manamune into the Nashor's Stand Ludens instead of maybe getting a lethality item or something in between to get the Q early, because you have more base levels that will help you evolve the Q earlier. So I think both can be good options. I would probably prefer to see the Kai'Sa made the Tristana ADC. But I also think Tristana might not be the best pickup here if we want to go for a different ADC. I think maybe a Varus would keep up with the team of the comp. You have Kai'Sa, Jace, and Varus poke against this quite low range team comp. And also the Xin Zhao can work almost like as a shield, and the Leona can just bring her CC to just peel for them. But I think the Tristana also gives them a different type of comp, of course, and also it might just be a comfort pick. So it can also make sense.
That's true. So there is a vote going on in the chat. Who do you think has won the draft in Game 1? Who is going to win the overall game in Game 1? Will it be Null8? Will it be AMX? Put your votes in now. Let's see who you think got the best of this draft. We can see now champions being locked in the champion sec, so we can confirm a few things that would have otherwise not been potentially known until the game starts, such as it will be a Warwick top. We are seeing the Kai'Sa in the mid lane and the Tristana AD carry. So it seems like they want a bit more of the kill threat towards that bot lane and put the scaling in the mid lane. We'll have to wait and see whether that works out for them. Of course, Jinx not the strongest of early game champions, and Rakan as well can struggle a little bit. If they get jumped on here, you can burst them down. But I do agree with your original statement. I would have expected to see the Tristana mid and just leaving the Kai'Sa to scale in a lane that shouldn't be able to bully her all that hard.
Yeah, but again, if you want to look for that sort of kill lane, you see a Jinx Rakan, the Leona Tristana can really punish them. It also can keep up with the push, right? The Kai'Sa Leona won't really be able to keep up with the Jinx push after a few levels into the queue and a few items. So if you want that bot prior, try and stack Drakes or something like that, then it can make sense to also do this. The only scary thing might be that you have two pushing lanes in side lane and the Zoe getting a pushing lane mid, which would free her up with the Jarvan to look for these picks in and around in both side lanes. So you have to be a little bit careful, kind of smart on Xin Zhao's part to shadow the correct lane, not let one of the lanes get really punished by this roaming mid-jungle duo. So it'll be interesting to see how they fix that problem that might occur.
Yeah, so let's say, which lane do you really think we need to keep an eye on here in the early game to get an idea of the outcome? Would it be looking to the mid lane to see whether the Zoe's able to roam, or do you think it's mainly to do with this bottom lane, whether the Tristana and Leona can start getting those kills and getting rolling?
Well, I think Null8 has a better team comp when it comes to the team fights later on, and a big part of that is the Jinx, right?
Yes.
So if the Jinx gets behind, then it will be really difficult for them to get that big ball rolling in those kind of team fights. Of course, Jinx is kind of strong right now, so if she gets excited in a team fight, it can still go well for them. But I think if AMX are able to shut down this Jinx, it will be really difficult for Null8 to do anything. And then again, the mid lane matchup might go into it, the jungle matchup might come into it. But I think the top lane will be left on island. Jace will get a little bit of a CS lead. Jarvan might look for an early gank, but I don't think they will really focus on that. I think the bot lane will be what decides the game, early on at least.
So there we go, bot lane to watch, and then maybe keep an eye on the other lanes, you know, if Jace can really get snowballing, or the Zoe or Kai'Sa in the mid lane, one of them could really put the other one down quite hard. We'll just have to wait and see. We are waiting on the spectator delay. We've got about 1:20 left until we go into the game. There is still the poll in the chat. Make sure you vote in there if you haven't. Do you think Null8 will win the game? Do you think AMX will win the game? Currently, most people believe AMX are going to take this game, so obviously thinking that bot lane's going to go in their favour. But you can influence that vote. Get your vote in. There's not that big of a gap right now. And it's over. Yes, AMX taking. It's only 4 votes to 2, but most people believing AMX will be able to take this first game. So of course this is an important game to get rolling in your standings. You don't want to lose the very first game that you play. It can really put you down in morale, can really put you behind in your stepping stones towards that playoff spot. There are 4 playoff spots and 6 teams, remember, so every team you lose against is a big blow. You only have 10 games to play. We generally see, I believe, you get into the playoff spot at around 4-5 wins. So you're getting those 2 wins early on in your first games are really important because it really sets you up nicely to get into the playoffs. And we are going to start loading into the game. I'll wait to swap over until the game is actually on screen because, yeah, we don't want to be scuffed, because, you know, we always are scuffed anyway.
Yeah, it can't be intentionally scuffed.
Yeah.
Let's see if it's any interesting runes. Well, Leona has opted for the Glacial Augment instead of the Aftershock. It makes the rest tanky, but it gives that slow feel and also reduce damage to everyone except you. So it's an acceptable choice.
Yeah, it gives them more kill threats with the added slows, which is what they're hoping to do in this lane, so very nice to see. What do you think about the Rakan Ignite? Oh, straight into the game, that was quick.
Well, they have both of the bot lanes has gone for the Ignite Exhaust, right? Exhaust on ADC and Ignite on the support, so that does make a lot of sense. You don't really see a lot of heals in AD carry roles anymore. You might see some cleanses or something, but Exhaust is just really, really strong on them, and you want that Ignite on all the supports for that kill threat.
AMX Team Longsword Refill, as they shall now forever be known. That's 3 longswords with refill pots to start. And of course you've got a refill on the jungle. If you're someone that really likes value, you've got to love that start. That's a lot of value.
Yeah, it does make sense in most of the lanes. Right, the Jace can afford it. You don't really need anything else. Maybe a Carping Potion might be good if you elected for that type of rune setup and may want to punish him more, but...
One second. I forgot to change the team names. Oh no. Ignore the fact that the screen is totally fucked while I'm doing this because I didn't set up my screens right. Oops. No one saw that. Wouldn't be scuffed at all. It wouldn't be CoraL if it wasn't scuffed, you know?
Yeah.
There we go. We didn't miss anything.
Charm, right?
Double red start. So, yeah, kind of expected you'll see Sin go towards bot lane. What I do notice, Warwick's waiting in the bush for Jace.
Yes. Jace has 2 abilities.
Starts off with the auto attacks, follows with the Q, very nicely done. That's 200 health left on the Jace early.
Yeah, it seems like he used the Q on the buff, so he didn't have it up there, so that really hurts him. I'm surprised he didn't change to a hammer form because you get more resistances when you do that. And you also get the ability if you had already used it, so... yeah, you started doubling on it. That actually makes kind of a lot of sense. I see just the Jace poke kind of popping off.
Early gank
Were really
mid.
Nice bubble, but...
Really nice bubble. The cleanse was used in return. Yes. And yeah, very, very nice early gank there. They don't manage to get the flash out of Kai'Sa. Some nice footwork from Zephyr, but they do get the cleanse.
Yeah, that's what you gotta look out for when you're playing as a Jarvan. Really, really strong level 2. Compared to the Sin Sour, really needs that 3rd level usually. And it seems like both junglers are going for that 3 camp, maybe 4 camp on the Sin Sour. And it's more usual now. You don't really see a lot of 5 camps anymore because you can't go 5 camp into Scuttle Crabbing at level 4 like in the previous season. So you usually see that and then looking for a gank, soak some lane experience and then go for the Scuttle Crab to hit level 4.
Yeah, well, no, that early pressure really paying off for Maverick in the top lane. He's got 18 CS to the Jace's 7. Meanwhile, bot lane, a little bit of a struggle for AMS. They are falling slightly behind in the CS department. They've not really managed to get any engage yet, but they are only level 2. Not the end of the
Yeah, and they're
game.
probably just waiting for his Sin to come down. They know he is around there, and just letting the Jinx and Rakan push it in. But it is also Tristana, so she kind of does auto push, which isn't always
Very
favorable.
smart
But
pathing from the Xin. Misses out on that ward. He's not been spotted. He will be coming in for
yeah,
the bot lane
really
gank. Insta
gets the
flash
flash.
away.
Yeah.
And that is what you want, though. That's a lot more kill threat now on this Jinx.
Yeah, it is a really smart way of going around there, dodging the vision, and gets rewarded. It seems like they're actually going to freeze down here, which the Sinsar should probably stay around to just get that minion wave pushed
Oh, but a
in. But
fight in mid. The bubble does go wide. Zeph is very low, but he gets the W on. Ignite's thrown
oh
down. Danny almost falls, but will flash away and keep himself alive.
yeah, actually gets both the flash and the ignite from Danny there. And that's not what you want to see when you play the Zoe. You kind of want to snowball against this Kai'Sa because you know you will get outscaled at a certain point by this Kai'Sa.
Yeah, those Ws really will start to hurt even more as the game goes on. It looks like a gank's coming in. There's no flash on the
Yeah.
Zoe. This should be an easy pickup. Drowsy, first blood over to Styx's end.
And no TP on the Zoe either, so the Sinsar can just help push in the wave, and it should be quite difficult for the Zoe now. You won't really be able to see him go for these sort of roams we were talking about earlier in the game. Has to start pressure mid after that level 2 gank. Really hasn't been able to do a lot. I'm not really sure what happened in the middle. Focused too much on laning phase after that gank, so
Jungle Invade comes in, but it's just for some vision. Nothing much more going down. Looks like the bot lane of AMX might have that wave frozen in response. I don't think
we're
so,
really
though.
nice.
Oh, that does miss
Actually
the
misses the
knock-up.
flash.
Raktox flashing
Yeah.
away. Tries to go on Maverick. He is tanking the tower. Maverick does not
Well.
die.
Uh,
That.
Was it the Rakan shield and the Q heal, maybe?
It must be. There has to be something to have stopped that happening.
Yeah, something happened. Not really sure what, but something did happen.
I'm guessing maybe
And,
Triumph as well. Because it just looked
yeah,
like his
probably.
health didn't move. It's probably like Triumph or a Khan heal and a shield at the same time or something. Oh, Barrier.
Yeah, you used barrier, yeah, maybe. That makes sense.
Because Barrier is down. There we go. I didn't even notice this Warwick is playing Barrier top.
Yeah, it is something we usually see on him. I'm not really sure why. Haven't really looked into the top lane, top Warwick fanatics. He really likes to go it. Yeah, I've seen it a lot, so it must be good. Also, the TP changes has made combat summoners be more decent in the top lane than before. So
Yeah, I do think
yeah.
Barrier is generally quite good. If you're going to be one of these champions that really goes for those all-ins. Slight trade in the mid lane, nothing really going to happen. Maverick waiting around. He's on 250 health, but he is level 6. Can regain a lot of health with the ultimate. I think he's just hoping Raktox is going to walk up and face check.
Yeah, he has 2 wards. I would probably just ward the bush if I were him.
And here he goes.
Seems like
He's going in. Q regains a lot of health. The fear goes down. He's also attacking suppression. That's a lot of health regained. Raktox will knock him away though. There's a flash in, and that's another kill over to the Warwick top.
Yeah, it seems like Maverick really has this Warwick down to he knows that he can all in there and won't really die to the chase. So really smart play by him.
Well, that's a knock-up onto the Tristan, but nothing will come of it. Yeah, we thought we would be looking towards this bottom lane for the kills, but nothing really been picked up here, just an even farming lane. Meanwhile, the top lane is where we should have been watching all along. Looks like they're swapping. Zephyr's gone top now, sending the Jace mid to where he might not be bullied quite as hard.
Yeah, it is an interesting one. It does make sense when you have a losing matchup like that, and you just put the Kai'Sa top. Should be able to do fine, I guess, but the Warwick is that scary for her as well. And You have already seen a dragon go over to AMX, so they are really looking for that dragon stack. Only 2 minutes and 40 seconds until the next dragon, so will be interesting to see if they go for that again and just try to get this early soul point to force them into fighting them, try and get this wishing control. And I do have the poke from the Jace, the Kaisa, to really force them away. So if they get the onto objective early, it will be difficult for Null8 to respond easily. At least.
Cheeky try there from Wins Resolve to cancel the back, but doesn't quite manage to get it. AMX will swap back their top and mid laners. They were just making sure to get the most out of their waves. Meanwhile, Tristana and Jinx just left in the bot lane together to farm up. Jinx seems to be getting slightly better out of the matchup.
Yeah, and the Jinx is a ticking time bomb, as always. After a certain point, she can just annihilate teams. The only thing is, they have two champions at that range.
They tried to go in, but that's a lot of CC going down onto Styx. He uses the ult, but he can't get away. Sanfi's now in there as well. Zephyr's caught in the ultimate there. He will get locked down and taken out as well. Double kill over to Danny Zoe.
Yeah, that's not a fight you really want to take, I think. Not really sure what the thought was there. I think, since I maybe just want to try and flash Smite to steal it, but I'm not sure it's worth the risk there. The first Herald isn't that huge if you just have correct lane assignments and just keep someone in the lane to kill the Herald. You only lose a few plates, and there you lose a lot more by doing that.
Yeah, so when you think about it, there's no way, even if they manage to stop the Herald there, you're going to die going for it. So you're going to give over 300 gold. If that happens, you've saved yourself essentially 20 gold, because the turret plates will give 160 each. So that'll be 320. Yeah. It doesn't seem like the kind of risk to take. Basically, would you risk dying for a single melee minion?
Yeah, and you also give away more XP by dying than you get from actually killing the Herald as well, so overall it's probably just not worth at all. And also you maybe bait your team as you did there and lose even more by doing so. So, yeah, probably not the best decision, but we move on.
Ooh, Maverick is playing a bit with fire here, is quite low.
Has the barrier though, and a lot of healing and the damage reduction from his E, so it is still risky to go for all in for the Jace. Doesn't have that power spike. Once he gets into Eclipse and Mana Mune, you will probably start to win out some of these trades even harder, and it'll be really difficult for the Warwick to do a lot.
Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, small CS lead built up for the Jinx, about 10 overall. Not really what you're hoping to see, but can happen. Overall, in the game, we're looking at about a 2,000 gold lead for the side of Null8. That is a miss from Maverick, and now he's not really where he wants to be. That's a jump in from Raktox, but a massive heal coming out from the Warwick. Meanwhile, over at the Dragon, Styx is being taken incredibly low. The Dragon is stolen, and it is a 1-for-1 trade, both junglers going down. Zephyr, though, is here. Skymorph trying to get away. Gonkaz jumping into the pit onto Danny. Danny's trying to get out, but that's Zoe. Your jump will not keep you on the other side of the pit. Everyone's in the pit now. That's one down already. Freezy doesn't quite get the kill onto Sanfu. Zap, though, will take the kill. Freezy now trying to kite backwards. Flashes away, but the Kaiser Q will follow there. Get the kill. Skymorph now left to run away. That's a nice win. Realistically, for the side of AMX, they managed to make up about 500 gold difference, pulling it back in return for that dragon.
Yeah, it is decent, but then again, you have a lot of champions that go for that are going for these flat pan items. The Kaiser will probably go for something like the Luden's Echo, and the Jace will have this sort of vitality build. He also will get some armor pan after a certain point, but right now it won't really do a lot. So. Those few resistances they get from the Mountain Dragon can really change a lot in these kind of burst combos early on. So the Mountain Drake on its own is actually kind of strong compared to many other dragons, and also you get to deny this early dragon stacking. It seems like MX wanted to go for. So
this is a 3-man onto Raktox. They're bullying this Jace here. Being taken incredibly low. Fear goes down. Nothing you can do. Maverick will get another kill on this Warwick.
Yeah, and it's actually a Bork rush. The new Bork is really, really strong, so that does make a lot of sense.
Yeah, especially for a melee champion, something like a Warwick. You just do so much percent health damage. You do heal so much. It's absolutely disgusting. This might be partially why... Oh, but there's an engage in mid lane. That's half health onto Zephyr instantly. A lot of damage being thrown back. Cleanses the Ignite, trying to get away. But the Q Paddle Star will pick him up in the end. It is traded down. Now Skymorph might be in a little bit of trouble. Sanfu coming up here will stun him up. Double kill over to the Xin. Is that worth...
No. It is a first turret top, and that just...
First turret top, and it's 2 kills on the Xin versus a kill on the Zoe. I don't know which one I think I would prefer. But there's the cage. Raktox is stuck
really
in
good
the cage again.
Shouldn't change too much. It is sort of damage, so he has the Eclipse. So he is strong. With that one item, it is a really, really strong item on Jace. So even though he's set really far behind, at a certain point he will still do half health with the QE on all these squishy members. So yeah, it isn't too bad. It isn't the worst. I would say if the Tristana was behind, it would have been a lot worse. Chase is probably the one champion here that can take being behind, can just start poking down, is kind of safe in a silent at a certain point. And no matter what, at 2 or 3 items, even if the enemy is at 4 or 5 items, he will really, really hurt. So.
Yep. I've realised the reason you probably take Barrier on Warwick is you want to be low because you get the extra... I think you get extra attack speed when you're low. You get extra healing, definitely. So the barrier keeps you alive while you are low and just gives you extra attack speed. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that does actually make a lot of sense. It will be interesting to see what these junglers go for as their second item. Sterix is now a trash item, so no one should go with it at all. I think that stance is probably the best in general. Of course, in some certain games, in the certain games it might be a different item, but in general, you can't really go wrong with the new that stance in any game.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what it is how to go.
We see first items are starting to be picked up. Mythics for a lot of people, although Kaiser, of course, picking up that Mana Mune to begin with. We'd expect to see her going to Ludens next. Is there anything you really want to see the supports build? Any sort of items in particular?
I think just...
Ooh, Maverick, though. He's found Styx in the bush. That's half health instantly. Ult goes down. Nothing he can do. Styx is taken out. They're going on to Sanfu next. The Leona falls, and nothing AMX was able to do in return for that. The 3 of them left to try and defend this tower against 5. It's a lot of poke going down. Drowsy Mavericks jumping in. So much CC. They're down. That's double knock up into cage. Jump away, but that's an early ace. Danny will die for it. Almost a clean ace, and they've got this Herald to keep running.
Yeah, now the Jinx has got a few kills. The Zoe has a few kills. This Warwick is just insanely fed.
And it's starting to feel a little bit hopeless. AMX, unfortunately for them, all their kills have gone onto the Xin Zhao. Not the character you really want them on. 2 dragons, this will be over to the side of Null8, but it's a bit of a disaster. How do you see them trying to stay in this game?
Yeah, well, you want the mana immunity to solo laners, right? Or the mirror mana before you really look for these type of fights. I also think Kaiser usually wants 3 items, right? You want the Nash's Tooth as well to get the E-Evolve, then you become a lot more mobile, and you can just go around this fight, try and W them, and after a certain point you can jump in and try and one-shot some backline members. The Chase also usually want 3 items. He can be really strong at 2 compared to the Kaiser. I think he's stronger at 2 items. And
ooh, they're looking for Maverick here in the bot lane. Yeah. That's a lot of CC going down. Maverick's taking incredibly low. There's a barrier. Knock away. Really nice from Gonkas. Beautiful ult. Does knock the Warwick out of his own ultimate. That's a big shutdown.
Yeah, really big. And it isn't on Xin Zhao this time. It is on to the Tristana, who might be able to carry these fights. Probably not in the best position, probably needs a few items and try and get these resets in the fights, but after a certain point she will have a lot of range. I don't think she will match the Jinx range, which is at 725 I think at level 9, but will come really close.
Did Jinx just get nerfed on her range, I think?
I don't know.
I'm not sure. I think Tristana now might overtake her at some point, but I think you have to look at the exact things. Yeah, that was their way of nerfing Jinx a little bit. I think they took a little bit off her range or something. It was a really strange set of nerfs, but I don't know if that's gone through yet or if that's on the next patch they're planning to do. Anyway, we do see gold bounties coming out. It's about a 5,000 gold leaf side of N8. Nice side step there from Freezy. This Jinx may be in a little bit of trouble. Exhaust thrown down. Does trade it for the flash. If you are side of AMX, you will take that any day. Our game's just slowing down for a little bit as there's no real objectives on the map. There's nowhere easy for N8 to push down and try and take. AMX will struggle a little bit to really get anything on the map. They just want to keep scaling. It sticks here, maybe caught out a little bit again. We'll use the Crescent Guard, pushing away. That's the fear down onto this Xin Zhao. Tries to flash out, but the ultimate from the Warwick will lock him down. And there's the cage yet again. Zephyr does manage to ult out of it this time. Wins Resolve, taken very low, will be taken out. Danny will pick up the kill onto the Kai'Sa though. Meanwhile in the bot lane, a tower does go down. Jinx taking it out. Oh, Danny with a lot of damage. Does just miss the bubble, though. Skymorph is on the side. There's the ultimate from the Rakan. There's a knock-up flash forwards from Danny. Will get that kill onto the Tristana. And they're playing very well right now. Null8. Just getting those kills. They might be able to break the base from this one.
And if this Jinx gets the solo gold on this botlet turret, it would be really, really huge. It doesn't seem like...
Oh, Raktox jumping in, though. Tries to knock the Jinx back into the turret, but the cannon's not dead yet. Maybe went a bit too far there. Raktox in a lot of trouble. Sanfu trying to keep him off of the Jace. Nice flash away. They do manage to pick it up. Danny coming in, though, will snipe the Leona out. Make it a 1-for-1 in the end.
Yeah.
The W did land sticks going in on Freezy. That's a nice knock-up. Freezy Gale forcing away, putting down a lot of damage. Zephyr will just walk in to pick up that kill. 800 gold, I believe, over to the Kai'Sa.
And now she should be able to get this Ludens online and also get this Muraman online. And now her W will really, really, really hurt. Once she gets this Pan Boots, maybe. It might be Pan Boots, it might be Attack Speed Boots, depends on what she wants. If she wants utility from the invisibility, I think that might be better, but we have to see what he decides on. I also checked on the Tristana thing, and Tristana gets 661 ranged, and the Jinx with the Q active will get 725, so it is quite a big one. Yep. And it's bigger now because Tristana isn't level 18 yet.
That is quite a big difference still. But we are looking at another dragon spawning in 30 seconds. It is an ocean soul that they will be fighting over eventually, so not really one of the strongest souls in the game. But there's a Drowsy going down into a knock-up. Sanfu can't move. Really nice stopwatch, does dodge the Zoe Paddle Star, but won't actually be able to do anything with it. A little bit of poke thrown down. But maybe not the right time to actually use that stopwatch. A nice ult away from Zephyr will get him over the wall. N8 should just be able to take this Drake with no real contest, but it looks like AMX want to take the fight. They're looking for it. Raktox with a lot of damage. That's a Drowsy bubble, though, and the Jace is now also down. It's a 3v5. Surely AMX will walk out of this one. A little bit of poke coming in. A lot of damage actually coming out from the Kai'Sa. Maverick jumping into the backline. Damage coming out, but no one's fallen yet. They do pick up one. Styx is incredibly low, though. The Jinx does go down. The Warwick ult comes in. Gonkas jumping back. Zephyr and Gonkas doing their best to kite this out. Maverick is running after them. There's the exhaust thrown down. CC going down, and that will be the Tristana to fall. A nice bubble in. Cleanse comes out, but Zephyr, there's nothing he can really do here. He will also go down. It was a good attempt.
Yeah, it was. And we see the amount of damage his Kai'Sa can do with her poke. And if the Jace wasn't so far behind, if he had that mana immune at that point in the game, it could have looked to be a little bit different. Might have gotten more poke down. And that's kind of what they want to look for. They didn't really get it because they got collapsed upon. Because they don't have that control over their own jungle, so they can really just get engaged on by this Rakan, Jarvan, and Warwick. But if they had more control over the map, I think this comp could really work out. And it's interesting to see them go for something like this.
And it is a 7,000 gold lead right now that has been built up for the side of N8. They are only one Drake away from that Ocean Soul. Not the most impactful of souls, but still, you're very happy to have it.
Yeah, and against that much poke in the Kaisa and the Jace, it can be really, really effective. You can change fights, right? If you get poked down, you can just walk away for a little bit, heal up, and then go all in. So it isn't the worst Drake at this for Null8 to get, actually.
See, Baron is just being slowed up. AMX seem to have some sort of idea here. Ward goes over. They definitely are aware right now. There's so much damage from the Kaiser W, about half health onto the Warwick, but the Leona is assassinated by the Zoe. Taken down. They're still waiting. They're going to go for the steal. W over from the Zen, jumping in, but blue team will get the Baron. AMX did not manage to get it. Styx will go down. And Raktox was also taken down by, I believe, Zoe's assassinations on the backside.
Yeah, and now we can see Zoe has 22 stacks on the Magi's. Really, really strong at this point, and it looks dire.
Zephyr did almost, mate. Oh, that's a miss from Maverick. He's being taken so low, though. Will get shut down, and that's onto the Kaiser, who's doing a lot of damage right now. Half health onto the Jinx with 1 W.
Yeah, I should have had Shadow Flame once she recalls her as well, so the poke will be even stronger.
Yep, realise maybe... Oh, Bubble does land. AMX ready to block, though. Yeah, seem to have realised that maybe Nash's isn't the best thing to go next, because all of the damage is pretty much coming from the poke. Ooh, Styx will go down from one combo from the Zoe. And he has health. This isn't just a carry.
Yeah. He doesn't have any magic resist, but still, that stance does make the damage spread out a little bit more, so one-shotting them at this point in the game is kind of absurd.
Yeah, it was the Death Stance tick that got the kill in the end, I believe.
Yeah.
But, yeah, the health from... I can't even remember what it's called. Oh, but they're going on to Zephyr here. Skymorph jumping forwards will get the knockup. Double knockup done. Zephyr, incredibly low, will try and alter with the Killer Instinct. Cage will go down to just take out this Kaisen. That's the strongest member down from the side of AMX. What can N8 do with that? Wins result being taken low will go down in return eventually.
Yeah.
Solar Flare was used. N8 could try and do something with this. Maverick is just pushing the top lane.
Yeah, we finally see some anti-heal on the side of AMX. We see the Tristana get some, and it will be really, really important, especially if they get this this Ocean Soul as well. A lot of healing from the Warwick, a lot of healing from the Jarvan, right, with that stance and the Gore Drinker. So getting some anti-heal will be really, really important. I would like to see maybe a few more members getting it, so they ensure that they will proc it, but you don't want to overdo it as well, right?
We can see Ocean Drake will be spawning. It was being pinged by N8. Looks like they want to just get the soul before they try and go any further. They're backing off towards it. Zoe actually fishing for a potential bubble. Does hit it, but won't try and get the follow-up kill. Oh, that's a lot of damage. Maverick is found out. That's the Super Mega Death Rocket. Doesn't quite kill the Tristana, but they easily pick up the Dragon's Soul there. Sanfu might be in a bit of trouble. He has been found out. Will flash away across the wall. That's so much damage. Jace taken down. Sanfu incredibly low. Surely going to fall. This has to be the end of the game. Freezy just running down now, getting excited. Suppression goes down. There's the Drowsy. Is Gonkas and Zephyr left to try and defend. And Kaiser missing the W. That's going to be a long cooldown left. Surely this is now the end of the game.
Yeah, it would probably be that.
They're trying to bait them towards the fountain a little bit.
This Jinx, right?
Oh, and That's one there. They do the
Yeah.
fountain dive, lose 2, but Null8 will pick up the first game in this series. I say series, it's 2 games. They'll pick up the first game.
It is a series. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a series.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw someone point out that if the void stuff was good, and the thing is, the percentage goes in first, and then the flat one. So, she probably does like true damage on every member because of the base MR, and then you reduce it with the percentage, and then the flat goes in. So, it isn't the worst item. Pretty cheap item as well. Goes online faster than maybe a death cap or something like that. So. It is an understandable purchase as a 4th item. If it was like a 2nd or 3rd item, I would probably have to question it a little bit more, but it does make sense to go for it as a 4th item.
Foreign chat saying change the players in on N8. These screens were just made when we're with what players we had been told about, so they might be a little bit out of date. You know, we don't even have all the screens yet. We've been working on it. Give us some time. Right, I need to invite some of the teams. Yes, that would be a good thing to do. Let's get the teams back in, ready in the lobby. So we need... that will do. I think that's the right... There we go. So obviously they'll be swapping over this time, so AMX will be on the blue side, Null8 will be on the red side. I'm just setting everything up. We're
It will be
ahead of
interesting to see
schedule.
what adaptations we will see from both sides. I think the Warwick ban might come in here. Seem to work very comfortable on that champion, so just getting rid of it might make sense when it is a series and you already have a good game. You just wanna cut that off and don't let him redo that champion. I would also like to see maybe Null8 go for some AMX maybe go for something a little bit more easy to execute. Their comp here is kind of, if you fall behind, it's kind of difficult against the enemy team comp who can just roll over you. If you're ahead or you're even, it can be really interesting and you have a lot of outplay potential, but once you fall a little bit behind, the game can just crash and burn. So maybe go for some more late game insurance or some more insurance in the comp, so you have some more comeback potential.
What I'd be interested in is, do you think will AMX potentially try and run back the same thing, but just getting rid of the Warwick? Because that felt like it was really where the game started to fall apart, and when this Warwick was going to other lanes, it really snowballed the game. Oh, we are going into draft already. Yeah. Nice. I shall swap us over.
Well, they might do that, but again, we already kind of lost quite hard on the comp in best of 2. You might want to switch something up, maybe not everything. Maybe you liked Kai'Sa mid and thought that was a good idea, but maybe changing out the ADC, going for something more secure there, or maybe changing up the top lane, not going for a Jace, going for something that can maybe assist on a dive comp. Kai'Sa can also work in a dive comp, right? Poking him down a little bit and then just arcing in with the whole team. Something like that could also work. And just keep elements of the comp, but maybe changing up some of the elements. Could be something you could do. Or just revamp the whole thing, of course. That's also possible.
So this time we see the Yasuo ban coming out of AMX. They will ban the Jarvan as well, getting rid of that. Of course, just Jarvan, a very strong jungler, just from the amount of CC that he brings in.
We'll see Veigar ban again, yeah. They're just running back the same bans as last game, I think. Null8. And the first pick, I say this time, yes.
So, yep, Kaiser being picked up first. Kaiser was doing quite well towards the mid to late game, pumping out a lot of damage, despite having a bit of a rough early game with the amount of ganks coming their way. So I'm not too surprised that it's locked in, as well as it being a flex, and we will see the Diana locked in now that Yasuo is banned. The side of Null8, I almost definitely expect that to be jungle.
Yeah.
We know it's one of his favourite champions. I believe he was pretty much practically a two-trick than in the Yasuo last time he was playing. So would not be surprised. So Cassio locked in blind mid, or well, potentially assuming it's the Kaiser mid.
Yeah, it is interesting. You have a double AP mid jungle. It's something you don't usually want to see, right? Because you can just kind of counter it with going some magic resist. The Kaiser doesn't really want to pivot into something like Dex Drinker because she really needs that 3 core or 2 core as fast as possible. So that might be the idea there. And also, the Cassiopeia can be annoying for the Kaiser with the W. You can't really use your ultimate. If she gets into close range, diving in with the ulti, Cassiopeia is really good at just making it difficult for her to do anything with the W, the Q, spamming the E's and the ultimate. So, not the worst idea. I also think her items are really, really strong and cheap. So
we see the Leona locked in. It will be a Lee Sin, bringing some more sort of early game power, maybe a little bit more playmaking potential. Lee Sin's an interesting one. Oh, a Bard. I like Bard.
yeah, it is a fun champion. I would have to agree.
So it's very interesting. So far, they've got the support locked in quite clearly mid and jungle for N8, so not really giving anything away. We'd potentially be looking at them making some potential top lane bans or some AD carry bans, but they have banned away the Vex. Maybe they believe that's going to force the Kaiser into the mid lane. Warwick, we see it taken away.
That might be a thought, right? And more Kaiser ban.
It's an interesting ban. Obviously, I've not actually looked into them.
I think it's probably one of the worst top laners in the game. I guess it's a comfort pick or something. Seems like they're gonna go for the Bane ban. It is a strong ADC, especially when you see this sort of all-in comp with no really point-and-click CC. Bane can really just
go to town,
around, doing a lot of true damage and all of that. So yeah. Ezreal. Ezreal is an interesting one. Haven't seen him too much. I know there are some a lot of different builds people go on him. Divine Sunder is not something you should go, I think, but yeah.
Ezreal can be very strong, and the other very big plus point here is Ezreal's a very safe champion, which will allow Bard to roam around the map as much as his little heart desires, which is why I believe they'll have locked it in there. A very quick final round there. I'm going to tell them they can start off.
Okay.
But yep. So we could talk a little bit about these final picks. Then we can spread our time out a little bit. So Ezreal, of course, being picked up because it's just a very safe pick. Can be very strong as well with the amount of self peel and kiting that it can provide. We'll have to see whether he decides to go into the lethality mythics or if he'll go Triforce. You can go Sunder it if you're into a very tanky team, but generally you don't want to, because generally Triforce is going to be better in most cases. You do have to have a very tanky team that are building a lot of health for it to become worthwhile.
Yeah, I think the most usual one is Dusk, but I think the Prowlers and the Eclipse build path is very underutilized on this champion. I think it's really, really strong. And also, if you go against a tanky team comp, I think the Eclipse is just the best option compared to maybe going for the Divine Sunder. And if you need AP, which they really, really don't need at this point, but if you really need it, you can also go for something like the Leandris is something I've seen as well, but it's probably not going to be the case in this game because you have a lot of AP already.
Okay, and then the Scion. Tell me a bit about Scion.
I'll be interested to see if it's going to be the Baus variant or the tanky variant. Probably the tanky variant since you blind pick it. Probably just go for the W stacking, getting a lot of HP, having the ultimate to just go in, and just being really, really annoying in those late game team fights or mid game team fights. You also have the opportunity to get a push in lane. You should be able to push in the carry with your Q after a certain point and just roam down to mid lane with your ulti, try and snowball the mid lane, which has a LeBlanc, so you really want to try and snowball it, especially when you have LeBlanc Lee Sin, you just want to try and snowball it and get them rolling, go around the map, get kills onto the LeBlanc and Lee Sin. If not, then I think the carry combo of Cassiopeia Ezreal, as well as the Diana who scales to Lee Sin, would just be too powerful at a certain point, so we'll have to see AMX try and get this ball rolling, get this LeBlanc rolling, maybe help out the Kai'Sa in the bot lane a little bit. And also utilize the fact that Diana isn't really the strongest early game jungler, so yeah, that's probably what I would expect out of this game.
Yeah, I'll say I think the LeBlanc lock-in was a very smart flex there because, of course, Null8 would be very happy to play the Cassiopeia into the Kai'Sa. They know that AMX is willing to play that Kai'Sa mid, and they pick it knowing that the Kai'Sa exists. Whereas, you look at this, what Null8 locked in for a bot lane, it's an Ezreal Bard. There's not all that much kill threat there, and you would expect the Bard to be roaming a lot. That's a very safe lane for a Kai'Sa to play in, which of course is a champion that wants to get a few get a few get a few items under her belt before she starts getting into the game, which is something she probably can't go do into a Cassiopeia lane.
Yeah, it would be difficult. I think Kai'Sa needs 3 items there to be more effective than the Ezreal. Right, the 2 item power spike on Ezreal is really, really strong. With the Manimian and a Sheen item, he can be really annoying. And he will just keep getting stronger as well, right? But I think at 3 items, Kai'Sa should be stronger. And then it becomes more about execution at 4th or 5th item against these 2 ADCs. But the rest of the team should outscale for the Ezreal in this instance.
So we are now waiting on the spectator delay to come down. You know, this is such interesting team comps. These are team comps you wouldn't expect to see in the current meta so much. They're more looking like meta from a few years ago. But
yeah, not the Garen though. Maybe if it was in the ADC position, but it was Fnatic, of course.
Maybe. And yeah, just people in chat, there is a poll for you to vote in who you think are going to win. There are mods in chat who can log on to the CoraL account and ban you, so just, you know, there's no need to be toxic. There's a line. Let's not cross it. We're all here to have some fun. Let's have some fun. Anyway, so what lanes do you really want to look towards in this early game, or is it the jungle we should be watching? Because we do have a Lee Sin and Winds Resolve on his Diana.
Yeah, I think the mid jungle will be really game deciding. If the LeBlanc Lee Sin can really snowball this game, I think, yeah, I think it can be a really, really difficult game for Null8. If the Diana Cassiopeia can just hold out and just get some items, it will be difficult for the LeBlanc Lee Sin to do too much. Right? The Cassiopeia is really good at controlling space in and around her, so after a certain point LeBlanc will really struggle to do something against her, and the Diana will just at the point outscale Lee Sin, probably around 2 or 3 items, I would say. Yeah. When she just become really, really, really strong compared to Lee Sin. So Lee Sin usually wants to abuse the level 6 to level 9 window, where his Q and R combo can usually just almost annihilate anyone. So yeah.
Yep, and of course LeBlanc champion that can really snowball out of control very quickly. Also Diana and Cassiopeia, so we should see a very explosive mid lane. We're not really expecting to see the top lane go too heavily in either direction, and the bot lane is sort of a not a write-off, but you know,
an existing lane.
It exists. You expect to see Kaiser and Ezreal left there on their own, just scaling up. We're probably going to end up seeing a lot of 3v3s around the mid lane.
Yeah.
We are just loading into the game. We'll be there very shortly. We do see let me just get everything ready there, and then we swap over to the game. And I do need to give a win there correctly. Yes, there we go. Okay. Null8 all running together straight into the mid lane. AMX countering by running to the bot lane together.
Ooh,
we
5v5.
We might be seeing the double invade happening where neither team actually runs into each other. Ooh, the Weird Face Check Sticks does see them. Skymorph tries to get something there, doesn't manage to get it. They will get the kill on the ward. Who got it? It's the Cassiopeia. Does that actually affect anything?
No, because the XP is like shared between everyone now, so it doesn't change anything. It shouldn't, at least. Let me check. Click on it. Yeah, it's nothing. She got nothing.
Oh, I've just realised that our graphics don't fit anymore because the spectator screen's been changed.
Oh yeah, that has happened to many.
Damn. Why did they do that? Okay, gonna have to look at that at some point, I guess. Anyway, we do see it will be both starting on the bottom side. Also not really expecting anything to happen in the bot lane too much. You could get one of the top laners starting to create a gap, but not really expected. It's most likely just the to get the quickest clear, get two champions hitting instead of one.
Yeah, and also at least for the Diana Garen, it should be really difficult to get some gank setup right. It's no CC at all before level 6 for the Diana. So it's only a silence and a dash on the Diana, so it will be difficult to kill the Sion.
I believe the W is a very small slow, but it's pretty much negligible.
Yeah, it shouldn't be that much. The Sion has some gank setup right, can EQ, but other than that, it should be around this chain mid lane. I think if you hit the chain and then into the Lee Sin Q, you can just instantly kill this.
Nice aggressive E from Freezy. You always like when you see the Ezreals willing to use those aggressive arcane shifts. So far, nothing much really happening. Just farming up the first few levels. Yeah.
We see 3 cookies on AMX, maybe because of their playstyle, right? Or the champions are picking, they really want to try and snowball this. So getting that extra HP can help.
We do see a top gank coming out, Sticks jumping in. Looks like they don't actually really want to go for the gank. They do get the flash out of the Garen. I'm not sure if it was really required.
It probably shouldn't. But again, he doesn't have TP, so he will just want to stay in lane and stay healthy, right? Especially as Sion has a freeze, so.
Yep. If one of the mods in chat could start that poll, would be good. I know there's some of them lurking. We see the first action around the mid lane, both junglers walking towards it and nothing really happening.
Yeah, it's just a scuttle trade at this point. The difference is that the Diana actually has a 2-camp lead now. Gets up to that golem because of the Lee Sin trying to get this gank up, and as well as Diana having a little bit of a faster clear than the Lee Sin.
Yeah, and unless the Lee Sin decides to go back to the top lane, I don't think getting the flash from the Garen is really that useful. You're not really expecting him to have to flash in this lane, so it would have to be another gank that makes use of it. He's not going to play any more safe just because his flash is down. Ooh, that's a engage coming out from Zephyr. A lot of damage to the minion wave, though, saving Danny's life. There was no angle for Lee Sin there.
Yeah, also the W from Cassiopeia. You didn't give Lee Sin the possibility to W onto the LeBlanc then queuing, so that's kind of annoying for him.
They're staying around the mid lane quite a lot. Danny potentially in a little bit of trouble. But he's just dodging around very well. Yeah, the aggressive Bard just auto-attacking for those about 30 damage hits each time. Getting that poke in.
Yeah, and while this Lee Sin is trying to...
Oh, that's a lot of damage onto Danny. Barrier popped. 100 health. Zephyr will walk away. Danny is actually staying around. Sub 100 health. Very risky. Against something like a LeBlanc. Especially with the electrocute. Trying to bait in. Wind Resolve is there. Nice flash away from Danny. Will keep himself alive. And the tower. Second shot is not quite there. Wind Resolve flashing after. But he doesn't seem to quite... Does jump in and will pick up that first blood. I didn't think he was in range. But does just manage to get it. It might have actually been the chains going backwards there that allowed Wind's Resolve to inch into range.
Yeah, maybe. And also it's kind of strange with some angles in the jungle, right? You have to make some turns and etc. So if you have a dash that just goes straight, it might give you the small angle right there.
Yeah. But first
that's
blood.
really huge, right? The Diana has just been able to power farm. I just full cleared into just clearing again in his inner jungle. So
Sanfu flashing
really
onto
nice.
Danny. I'm not sure this is ever worth it, even if he gets the kill.
Yeah.
Sanfu going to go down, surely to the ignite here.
Yeah.
It's a kill onto the Bard in exchange for not that much. Interrupting Cassio's back. She might miss out on part of a wave here, but Diana's going to pick it up, so really nothing lost. Sticks?
Yeah, no, it isn't like lost, but the LeBlanc hasn't really been able to get that far ahead. Has a little bit of a CS lead, but also doesn't have a flash, so can't really be that aggressive, can't really double forward a lot. Of course, she has that. She has that ability to go back again, but if she gets miasma, she can't really do that as well. So, that's the scary thing about this Cassiopeia lane for her.
Skymorph here finds Drake being done by 4 members of AMX. They really want that Drake. Gives a little bit of attack speed, I guess. It's, early Drake. If they're going to go for the Drake win condition, they have started that timer. Ult from the Scion. Bad angle. Maverick will be able to just walk away. He is turning it around though. Wind's Resolve is here. The Ignite is thrown down. Raktox forced to flash. I'm not sure if he actually noticed Wind's Resolve there.
Yeah, probably just assumed when he went back in.
There's the Ignite. That's a lot of damage onto Cassio. Now within the kill range of the next combo. You can see Bard starting Moby Boots and has actually roamed with them. You'll love to see it.
Yeah.
A Chad Bard here, level 5, fighting the level 6 Kai'Sa. No combat stats. Oh, but that's a lot of damage down onto Danny. Really nice barrier timing. Might just keep him alive through the Ignite. He's trying to get healing down. Doesn't quite get it in time. He will fall. And that's LeBlanc on the board. Very scary.
Yeah, that's kind of what you need. You need that small outplay, those small outplays when you play LeBlanc, and after you do that, it's like a skill curve. If you've seen the Rengar one, right? It takes a lot of skill to get the first few kills, and then it just takes no skill after that. So,
yeah.
But, if this keeps on going, it will be really difficult to deal with this LeBlanc.
Skymorph still just roaming between bot lane and mid, making sure. Well, that his bot laner and mid laner are safe when he is there. We saw what happened when he wasn't there. That kick.
gets the flash up to the Garen again, but there's nothing else really happens, and now it seems like they get the position onto the Rift Herald, which isn't ideal. You really want to try and snowball this game, so you want that first Herald to get some plates maybe onto the LeBlanc, and try and get some more gold onto her. Really, really starts to ramp up once she gets that Ludens and the pen boots, right? That's usually the point of the game where she really gets really strong, and we see a different Kai'Sa build as well. This game looks like she's going for the Kraken. I've seen some people do this. I'm not really sure how that works. Kai'Sa is that sort of champion that you really need to prioritize getting those evolves, and I haven't really looked into that kind of build, so not really sure when she gets the evolves and all of that, but yeah.
I think it will make you stronger later on because, of course, your auto attacks, they do % missing health damage, and you're probably going to get them the lowest with the first 3 hits if you have the Kraken Slayer, but it's one of those where it feels like you're just building it because you want to go as much AD as possible. Early on, you're an ADC, must build Kraken.
Yeah, it is true damage against the Garen, right? It can be kind of strong, but...
Gonka's taking a lot of damage, actually jumping in with the Clear Instinct. Styx is here, trying to put the damage down to Freezy. Freezy will be forced to flash away. But they don't really get much for 4 people invested in this bottom lane.
No,
Gold...
get the flash, but...
Flash, but that's it.
Yeah.
Gold is in the favour of Null8 right now. Was 1,500, now 2,000. And we'd hope to see something. Oh, that was an interesting interaction. Not seen that before. Garen completing his Q through a knock-up. Or maybe the knock-up didn't quite go through. I guess they're not...
I'm not really sure what happened, actually.
Surely the knock-up must have not gone through. It must have just looked like it was...
Yeah.
Wins Resolve is waiting here, though, for... Oh, that was...
Misses the Q.
You know, there's a little bit of a short queue. They can't all be max length.
That's true. And we see the Everfrost, actually, on Cassiopeia.
Yeah, wanting a little bit more CC. That's good against something like the LeBlanc. You know she's going to jump straight towards you. You just Everfrost forwards, lock her in place, throw the W down. Here we go.
Yeah.
And there, Danny shows the perfect example of what to do.
Yeah, that's unfortunate that LeBlanc chooses to either, right? Gets turret aggro as well, so just adds on top of that damage. The thing is, when you go for the Everfrost, you don't do as much damage against the Scion, and Astral also isn't really known for it to be a tank killer, so it can become a problem at a certain point. If this Scion gets to 3 or 4 items, he can be really difficult to kill. You don't really have anyone who can deal with him that easily.
Ooh, that's a lot of damage down to Raktox. The ult, not quite enough. If he'd waited a half second longer for that shield to just tick down, he might have got the kill. He will get a tower plate, though, which, you know, is half a kill. Ooh.
Yeah, that's true. And also, the Scion loses sort of experience and gold from the waves, so...
Null8 positioning to fight this, but so are AMX. Daddy is here, but they push Rinse Resolve back, and that's an assassination onto the Diana. Skymorph trying to get away. Killer Instinct used to continue on towards this Bard. They give it over to Gonkas. That's a double kill on the Kai'Sa.
Yeah, that's kind of what you need, right? It accelerates this Kai'Sa, gives her the opportunity to get this Q evolve earlier, and also the rest of her evolves, so that's when she really gets online. So... It is a good champion to hit on. It's either LeBlanc or the Kai'Sa really want these kills on. So
Zephyr there dodging out that time from the Everfrost. That will happen pretty much off cooldown. Just fish for those Everfrost procs. Raktox trying to put a little bit of damage down into the Garen, but you know, not too much realistically going to happen there. Goldie needs to be brought back a little bit.
We see Monomin on the Astral. It's still interesting to see what the Sheen item will be. He has picked up the Ruby Crystal, so it seems like he's either going for the 24s or the Divine Sunder. I'm not really.
I hope Trinity
Yeah,
falls this game. It's almost the same price, and
yeah, I think maybe the best option would have been the SS River into the Eclipse, uh, just to have
ooh,
some potency against this
Zephyrs use the
Sion. But
W, could be in
ooh,
trouble. There's a lot of damage being thrown down. The double chase comes out. That's
that's a
so
problem.
much damage. Bard will lock the Lee Sin in place. Ultimate comes out, doesn't actually connect onto LeBlanc. Sanfu, that's not quite where you want to be. Jumping in there will donate a kill over to Danny. You could
And the
say he was
TP.
saving his jungler and mid, but
Yeah,
you know,
not really
that's
sure about that one.
it's a charitable uh,
Yeah.
charitable reason.
And while all of this is happening, we see the two ADCs just existing in the bot lane. Nothing new here.
Ooh, it wasn't actually the Kraken Slayer, it was the Gale Force. A bit more of that survivability, a bit more assassination potential. Zephyr
Yeah.
trying to put down a little bit of damage.
Yeah, but when you go for the Gale Force, I'm not really sure if I would even go for the tier. I would probably just go like without full burst on the AD part. Just go into the go Gale Force into Collector or something like that, and just commit to the AD instead. But
Oh, there's a Killer Instinct coming out
ooh,
along with the exhaust and assassination from the Kaiser.
yeah, really well played. And that's one thing, right? You get the extra dash, so you can actually abuse this Ezreal in lane. That's also probably why he also would have gone for it. Gives him that outplay potential with the W, with the Gale Force and R. So Gale force the E out, and then you can R in to kill him.
Very good timing to abuse the Ezreal while he's still waiting on his first few power spikes.
Yeah.
Not finished a Sheen item yet. Mana Moon's not stacked.
Yeah,
Perfect
we're still
time.
not sure what he's going. He's left. He has bought every item that
Can
goes into both items, so we can't really carry out which item is going yet. So we're still waiting in anticipation on this one.
waiting with bated breath. Wins resolve there. We'll take that. A nice sidestep.
Another insect.
Actually, almost
Oof.
an amazing getaway, but not quite. Sticks will be stuck in place. There's the Cassio ult. He will go
Yeah.
down. He just got a little bit too much Lee syndrome there. Really feeling himself.
Yeah, but can you blame him? He's had like what 4 insects this game. Quite impressive. Or maybe
Yeah,
3. I'm not sure, but yeah.
Zephyr gonna try and go onto Skymoth. Does manage to get the flash out of the Bard. We'll be pretty happy with that. That will reduce the amount of plays Bard is able to do. Zephyr jumping back again. That's a lot of damage to the Bard. Following up with the chains. Not quite
Oh,
enough damage.
yeah, not ignite up yet. A few seconds on the cooldown there, so the Bard is able to survive. And this is something really strong about Cassiopeia, right? You don't need to go in for the boots. You don't. You also have really cheap items, so you get this 2 item price back before anyone else really. And we're even gonna get the 3 items fast because you will probably see something like the Royalized Crystal Scepter. So that's only like 2,600 gold as well. So these items just keep stacking up. They also, like the crit items, scale with each other. So to become really strong, really
Potential
fast.
engage from AMX. Sanfu just a little bit too far, but here's the Scion coming in. Pain
Oh,
Train comes
it's
down
pretty.
onto the Bard. He's taken down. Meanwhile, Kaiser assassinates Ezreal on the backside. They're following onto Wind Resolve now. So much damage. And they will be able to take this Infernal Drake as their reward. Garen, though, taking turrets on the top side.
Yeah, and the Inferno Dragon is really strong, I would have to say. If they get this Inferno Dragon onto a Lethality Kai'Sa, who's really going for that one shot with the Q or everything from this AD, and also going for that or getting it onto the LeBlanc, where we just increase our burst potential. So it's a really strong dragon for them, and will be interesting to see if they can keep stacking those Inferno Dragons.
There should be sounds in the game.
They're
It
not
looks
going for a player.
It's a lot of damage being put onto Danny, but Danny's turning it around. Will pick up that kill. Meanwhile, there's a fight going on in the top lane. I will look at the game sound in a minute. Turn it up a bit so you guys can hear a bit better. There's the ultimate from the Garen just picking that up. He will now try and run away, but Gonkas might follow on as well. Does have the killer instinct not quite up yet. Maverick being taken quite low. Will get taken down. Winds Resolve jumping in though. Exhaust thrown out by the Kai'Sa. Winds Resolve won't follow up on that. So I think he probably could have continued. There is game sound, but it's quiet. Okay, I will turn it up as soon as we get a chance to.
Yeah.
Nice sidestep.
Really nice dodge. Yeah.
And I believe... No, we don't quite have a chance to. As Skymorph face checks into the sticks. Quick sound up. There you go. More sound for you guys. Don't say we don't do things.
The Divine Sunder on Ezreal. Probably the worst Sheen item he could have gone for. Except for the Lich Bane in this game, so that's quite unfortunate, but it will help him do damage against the Sion, I guess, but other than that, it doesn't really do a whole lot in this game.
Yeah, Leona's never really going to get to that point where it really helps. You could argue it gives you a little healing, I guess. Might help you survive through the LeBlanc burst. It does have more health than Triforce. Is that enough of a reason to build it over Triforce?
Yeah, I think you just go like the two items and maybe pivot into Hexdrinker if that's something you're worried about, right? If you're worried about your LeBlanc. And then you maybe a fourth item or something, you go for the what's it called? Frozen Heart. You get more damage from the enemy, and then you also get the survivability against Kai'Sa, and then you just live in life. So yeah, I'm not sure it's the best item, but it's still a 2-item Ezreal, so it will still be really, really strong, of course.
Of course, of course.
There's a really nice item bought by the Lee Sin going right into the Hexdrinker, right, against this double AP mid lane. Also, Ezreal deals a lot of magic damage, especially when he goes for the one Sunder build instead of something like the more lethality focused builds. So it really, really helped him in these fights.
Meanwhile, top lane Maverick in trouble yet again, being taken fairly low. Gonkas jumping after him. Killer Instinct will be forced out. I suppose at least he gets the ult.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, N8 pushing in this mid lane with 3 members. Sticks being taken quite low. Might look for the kick here. He has Raktox with him, but no real carries for the team. Zephyr going with a lot of damage to Danny. Nice turn away, but Danny will be able to walk out of this one. That's a lot of damage being thrown into Raktox. He's being taken 200 health. He is just taken down. That's a knockback onto Winds Resolve. They should be able to pick up the Diana. Styx is still alive. Just about will get taken down in the end. Gonkas trying to jump around and do damage, but it's 2 for 1. Zephyr looking for something. Danny just being annoying. If you say there's no sound of the game, there is sound. I would say just turn up your volume.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm interested.
I can look at it later on my own and see if it actually the sound is good or not. But we upped it last time and people could hear it, and I haven't downed it since then. Barely hear the game.
Still.
Do I have time? Okay, here. You'll go black for a second, but let me do this. I will absolutely deafen myself most likely, but there we go. We've more than doubled the game sound. You guys should be able to hear it. Yes, I know, no image. That's what I said. If you were listening to what I was saying, you would know. The screen was going to go black for a second while I fixed that. Okay.
It's fine now. Okay, lovely.
Nothing actually happened during that time, just some wards were cleared, so don't worry. We're setting up now, though, for the Infernal Drake.
Yeah.
Zephyr is off to the side. N8 do have priority on the Drake. Sion ult is channeled. That's a really nice solar flare into double knock-up. Freezy trying to jump away. Back into the backline for Kai'Sa, but she's assassinated in return. Winds Resolve trying to jump in, but will get taken down. Styx also in a lot of trouble. N8 trying to pull this back around, but Zephyr's really the only damage left for AMX. does manage to take down the Bard. It's a 2v2 left alive. Garen going on to Zephyr. Zephyr's so low. Raktox, though, very tanky, trying to do something. What I will say is, it'll be risky for N8 to try and do this Drake.
Yeah, they don't have a lot of damage. I think they should be able to get it still. The Garen will just reach and I would go.
Yeah, it looks like they are going to just go for it. Yeah. They have TP from the Ezreal, so they will pick up their second Drake of the game. Slight win there.
Again, see the power of this Cassiopeia, right? 3 items, no one else is even close to 3 items because she can just skip boots. She also has cheap items. None of her items cost over 3,000 gold.
Oh, Zephyr does miss the chains, not able to get the assassination because of it. Yeah, the fight felt like it was lost there when Kai'Sa got blown up, jumping into the back line to assassinate. I think the Ezreal, she needs to stay alive for a bit longer. She can't be trading 1-for-1. The Ezreal may be a damage source for the enemy team, but they have 4 big damage sources. You only really have 2. There's a lot of damage coming out, just being traded between both sides. AMX being the victor in terms of damage, but will that make any material gain for them? Styx could be a little far up. Will jump away. Gonkat's going incredibly close, but there's the ult from the Scion. They're putting so much CC down. Really nice Bard ultimate. Wins result pulling 4 in, but will go down before the damage is coming out. They're going now. They do take one down. It's a 3v4. Null8 actually coming out on top of that. Zephyr will pick up the support, trying to get away. AMX are just trying to kite out this damage. Zephyr being tricksy on the LeBlanc, jumping around 2 for 2 in the end. Both junglers and supports going down. It looked like such a good fight for AMX. What went wrong?
Yeah, we see how difficult it is to actually kill this Cassiopeia now, right? A lot of HP, a lot of damage, a lot of zone control, and that's kind of what's really strange about their comp, right? They have a lot of short range damage dealers, short range tanks against this Cassiopeia, which was, I think it was first pick for N8, right? Or something like that.
I believe it was third pick after they'd seen the Kai'Sa.
Oh yeah, third pick or something like that. And that's also why it's kind of strange for me that they went for this like AD variant of Kai'Sa, right?
Zephyr falls straight into the trap there. Maverick in the back line takes him straight down. LeBlanc is out. That's a kick back, but that will be 2 in the Bard ult. Styx actually almost managing to escape from that one. Tries to fight it because he's forced to. But Null8 in possession of the game right now. 6,000 gold ahead. Will start up this Baron. Surely going to take it.
Yeah, I don't see how they can really contest it there. And as I was saying, so much short range engage into this Cassiopeia, and they really need to snowball the early game to do anything. Especially as the Kai'Sa went for AD, they won't really be able to outrange her, and then once she gets to these 3 items, she will have those faster.
Skymorph thought he was chasing the Kai'Sa, but just running straight into a trap will get taken down. That's some more cold onto this Kai'Sa, who will be very scary soon. Surely going to decide to finish that Mana Moon.
Yeah, it would probably be the choice. Ezreal is actually not that far behind, only like maybe 2,000 gold, so he isn't far.
Oh, really nice solar flare onto 2 again. They found the Freezy. Freezy not gone down yet. Will get taken down in the end. Nice kick away. Will stop Wind's Resolve from doing any damage. He's taken down. Danny now, though, trying to put the damage down into Gonkas. Maverick probably will go to assassinate this Kai'Sa, trying to flash away. Sanfu will get in the way, keeping his AD carry alive. Styx taken down as well. Garen just so strong, though. 800 gold over to the Scion. Maybe not who you want it on, but hey, you take it at that point.
Yeah, and it's actually a 4.5k goal lead on this Garen now. Really, really strong. So it would be difficult to really deal with at this point.
Yeah, we can see there's also a sizable gold lead, about 2,000 in the jungle, but that's not too bad. on Lee Sin sticks. You don't really want too much gold. And in theory, the game is quite close because of where those gold leads are. Sion and Lee Sin, the two characters that don't really need so much gold to function within the game.
Yeah, the big thing is that this Cassiopeia actually has 1,000 gold lead, and will soon complete her 4th item. Little Bonk will soon complete her 3rd item, and these 4 items on this Cassiopeia will really be a lot more impactful, I believe. And actually, has actually started to just go for the Magi's into this
10 stacks.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a lot of damage onto Freezy. Shield popped just to make sure that no burn will take him down. But that's the Ezreal unable to fight.
The Silent hasn't recoiled and uses 2k gold, so he won't really be able to use this shot on a gold he got. So
he's forced to use the ultimate as a disengage. Kaiser's caught.
Yeah.
Solar Flare goes down. It's none of. Oh, Kaiser though. Gonkas managing to assassinate the Ezreal, making the best of a bad situation.
Kaiser actually solved it here.
Null8 have to realize that they are stronger in this position. The redemption is coming down to keep them all healed up. The Lee Sin's assassinated. There's the dragon secured. Sanfu will go down. Zephyr jumping into the pit, but nothing that Little Bonk can do. Danny actually flashing after him. Zephyr in a lot of trouble. Should be able to just about get away from this one, but meme's a bit too hard and will get taken down because of it.
Yeah, now it's almost a 10,000 gold lead. 24 stacks on this matches for the Cassiopeia. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look really good for.
Yeah, this might just be the end of the game right here, depending on how N8 are feeling. But it looks like they might just double in here. Yeah. I assume they're going to go through the bot lane next.
Yeah, this makes sense, right? They feel like they're outscale. They have a lot of gold on them, right? The Cassiopeia is 1.5k. We'll probably be able to complete this Banshee's Whale and just regroup, reorganize, and look for this bot push. Maybe look for a Baron, and then just ending the game.
Ooh, AMX are trying to slow down these backs, slow down the game a little bit. Ooh. Sticks in a very bad position. Sanfu caught out as well. Leona surely going to go down. Surely that will be the game now. Maverick has found Gonkas. He's trying to get away on the Kaiser, but nothing he can really do. Raktox having to jump in to try and save his carries. But with the front line gone, how are you going to defend the base? Gonkas is taken down as well. Zephyr, the last one left standing. Memeing them a little bit again, just having a little bit of fun. He knows the game's over. He knows there's nothing he can do. We'll flash, but that will be the second game going over to Null8. A very strong performance from them today. And I don't feel like there's too much else to say about that. Yeah, very strong performance from the side of Null8.
Yeah, both team comps kind of similar, right? They just want to roll over the enemy team. This one, maybe a little bit more responsive. Doesn't really have a lot of the same engage tools, so the game went on for a little bit longer because they just stayed back, waited a little bit, got some items onto their carries, and then just won a few team fights, picked up some of the mistakes from the enemy, and then just slowly rolled over them with this sort of team comp.
Yeah, MVPs, I'm just writing it out now. Who do you think deserves the MVP for this series?
I would say Maverick really just... The Warwick game in itself was really impressive, but also his split pushing in this second game, and also played really well in both lanes, won both lanes, and also just really performed well in general. First game he really carried, I think, throughout this early game, and let his carries pick up afterwards. And then in this game he got a lot out of his split pushes, and then just his team fights were well done. He got a huge lead in both games, so I'd probably say Maverick.
Okay. I think myself, there's obviously a lot of there's a lot to look at. Maverick for that first game, I mean, you can't fault it. He did really well on the Warwick. Got ahead, managed to transfer those leads to the other lanes. Danny was also doing very well in the mid lane, it is worth saying. And then in the second game as well, he was doing very well on the Cassiopeia. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he also managed to take it. But it's worth saying, of all the players, most of them did play very well from the side of N8.
It was a good team performance in general, yeah.
Good team performance in general. And I mean, we'll wait for that brain not working now. we'll wait for this MVP to tick down. Do we want an interview with one of the winning team, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah. If one of the winning team, Null8, wants to jump into waiting to be moved, we might have a quick interview while this poll is going down. If anyone is there, Freezy would like Danny to come. I mean, we're not going to force anyone, so anyone who wants to jump into the waiting to be moved channel, it should be up from where you currently are, near the top of the Discord, and we will pull you in and have a little chat about the games and what you want to do in your future games. Interview the MVP. I mean, that makes sense, but also it is 9:30, and
yeah, true.
I've done a full day of work, then set up this screen, and then done this casting. He's camera shy. Yeah. Well, we're not gonna make him come on camera if he doesn't want to. Yeah. If someone else would like to, then they can come into the waiting to be moved channel. If not, then it doesn't matter. We can talk about the games that are coming up. What games do we have coming up? Brain, I don't actually have them open. I should have had them open. We've got Skymorph. Okay, we're going to bring in Skymorph, the support. Hello, Skymorph. Welcome to the stream.
What's up?
Oh, we've got Wins Resolve. Let's pull you both in. Yeah, sure. Support jungle duo. So we've got Skymorph and we've got Wins Resolve here. Skymorph, you came into the main team. I believe you're a part of the main roster now. A very late change. Do you know anything about this decision, why you were brought in, or what you think you bring to the team? Want to talk a little bit?
To be honest, today is the first time I've played with them, but we know each other.
Perfect.
But we know each other from a different tournament. I was an opposing team. I faced them a couple times. Actually, the top laner from AMX was my top laner. Shout out to Illboy.
There you go, shout outs.
He's not even part of the team yet. I think this was his tryout.
Oh, I see.
I guess I am now.
No need to go to your other one.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So, do you want to tell us maybe a little bit about the game? Did you know your top laner was going to pick Warwick in game 1? Was that a pre-planned thing into Jace?
I mean, if Warwick was open, we were always open to take it, yeah. I have no clue why they didn't ban it. Certain players actually say that on it.
Yeah, definitely a clinic in game 1. What did you think overall about AMX? And let's keep any sort of flame to a minimum. But nice things.
It's okay with some small flame.
Like,
Small
are you
flame?
asking
Alright.
both of us or just Sky?
Yeah, both of you.
Alright. I'll start with the first game. Well, the first game was pretty easy, not gonna lie.
True.
Didn't really feel like they were doing anything. I don't know what the game plan was. That's what that Kaisa Jace maybe trying to poke, but Jace was too far behind to ever play the game. And then Kaisa didn't really do much either, and their bot lane just, I don't know, were basically AFK when I was perma roaming.
Yep.
Yeah, were you surprised about the Tristana pick?
This thing. I haven't seen a Tristana in I don't know how long.
Yeah.
And I play this game too much, and I haven't seen one. Like I think it was supposed to like burst really fast on the Varus or something.
Yeah, because like personally, I would say like something like without the virus would probably be better with the team comp, right?
Yeah.
So it surprised me to see that at least.
We low key thought it was gonna be Kai'Sa ADC before they picked Tristana, because they didn't. I don't know. They hadn't picked another mid laner, and we thought it made more sense to have a Kai'Sa bot laner there.
But the second game, I must say, was a lot harder to play. It felt like they were a lot more on the same page on what they wanted to do. So I
That
must say,
lead was so annoying. Not gonna lie, he kicked me all the time, man.
Yeah, we did notice there was a lot of Diana ults into being kicked away from the team. It was AMX did manage to pull themselves together quite well in game 2. Did not manage to pick up the win, but had some definite moments where they showed strength. Talking about your guys' future matches, who do you have next week? You've got Team Cataclysm next week. Did you watch their... They have not played yet. Okay. I thought they'd played. I was going to say, did you watch the game? Have you seen Team Cataclysm before? They're playing, I believe, tomorrow. Yes, they're playing tomorrow against Crescent Solari. Do you know anything about Team Cataclysm? Do you have any thoughts yet on how you might want to play against them without revealing anything, obviously?
Like, to be honest, I think we just do what we do. Like we just figure it out. Like we have Freezy that like looks at how they play for I don't know how long he spends on it, and then we just go off of that and and play our game as best as we can.
There we go.
That's what usually happens.
So the MVP vote did end. Who do you guys though think from your team deserved the MVP?
Definitely. It's Danny or Maverick.
Wins?
I think it's Danny because he like I think they both played really well.
Yeah, both of them played pretty well.
Well, it was Danny on the mid lane. With
Danny
Zoe
kept us in the game, the second game, for so long.
Yeah,
actually.
true.
Zoe performance on game 1 and the Cassiopeia on game 2. Very strong performance. What else do I have to say? Brain dying. Been working too long today. Anything else you two want to say before we let you go and end the stream? No.
We're gonna win the tournament for sure.
Great, there we go. Strong words from the side of Null8. They're going to win the tournament for sure. The other team's going to try and stop them next week. Everyone, make sure to come and tune in later. I'm Gablet. I've been here with Peter. If you want to say something.
Right.
Yep. And thanks everyone, and we'll catch you next time.